to your first lesson on A Streetcar Named Desire. In this series, we're going to be exploring this astonishing play. We're going to be discussing and hopefully answering some of its most heart-deep questions, probing into key themes and ideas, and wandering through the magic of Tennessee Williams' language. Now, this series is based on the EdExcel A-Level Literature course, but non-exam content is relevant for any study of this play. So if you're going to be joining us on this series, you're going to need a copy of A Streetcar Named Desire and then access to the website, which is in the description of this video. So for this lesson, we're going to be looking at the concept of plastic theatre and the setting of A Streetcar Named Desire, because it's really important to get an idea of the setting for the rest of the study of the play. Now, I'm going to be clicking through some images of different sets. Underneath, or in wherever you are partaking in this course, be that a notebook or whatever, I'd like you to just write down 2 or 3 adjectives to describe the mood and atmosphere of this set. Okay, this is going to be helping us to answer our driving question today, which is, what's the point of plastic theatre? Okay, so our first image is one from Summer and Smoke. Just a couple of adjectives to describe the mood and atmosphere. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Fantastic. I think what you should have noticed from each of these sets that we've looked through is that actually they're not quite realistic. There is something that suggests a little bit or more than naturalism. So I want to introduce you to 2 concepts or styles of theatre which will help us to really understand the setting of A Streetcar Named Desire. So the first one is Expressionism. Expressionist art and theatre in a nutshell is essentially presenting things as they are experienced rather than what they really are like in real life. So instead of being necessarily realistic, they try to present the thoughts, the feelings of the experience. So, for example, in this image, we've got someone's first experience of a machine and what that experience is like rather than necessarily what, in this case, a steam train really looks like. So you've got the colour, you've got the noise, you've got the fact that it looks just like lots of cogs rather than necessarily being realistic. Naturalism, on the other hand, is trying to hold a mirror up to life and depict the real, but in art. It's not stylized or hyperbolic like Expressionism is. It's supposed to present us as ourselves, as you can see in this image where we've got some people around the kitchen table. And these are 2 really helpful ideas when we approach A Streetcar Named Desire. I'm going to pause the video on this screen. This is Tennessee Williams writing in his production notes for the Glass Menagerie. He talks a lot, or he talks about how to present experience on stage, and that actually naturalism isn't quite as close to truth as you can possibly get, and that sometimes bringing in elements of expressionism mean that we get closer to showing things as they really are. They allow us to get closer to truth. So pause this video and just have a read of his production notes and make some notes on the idea that he presents. Fantastic. This concept, this idea, as he notes at the bottom, he calls plastic theatre. This is when we add an element of the expressionist into our realistic conventions. He says this in a different essay. He says the extraverbal or the non-literary elements of the theatre, the various plastic elements, so what we see, smell, feel, such as Tennessee Williams says, light, movement, colour, design, are an extremely important part of theatre. And this we need to bear in mind when we are reading Streetcar. We need to think about the expressionist and the symbolic elements when it comes to plastic theatre, not just the realism. So I think it's about the way that the poetic imagination can show abstract emotions. And a lot of the ideas that Tennessee Williams is picking up from are the elements of expressionism that is best expressed or influenced by Brechtian epic theatre. If you're not entirely sure about Brecht and epic theatre, do go away and have a look. Just Google it, check out the Wikipedia page to understand a little bit more about it. But one of the elements of Brechtian theatre is about disrupting realism so that the audience actually realise that they're watching a play, and that allows them to have some sort of critical distance from the story, the action, the characters, in order to gain the moral message of the play, as well as to enjoy it as a theatre goer. So I think the whole aim of plastic theatre is to create a theatrical experience that's greater, that's better than realism, using props, costume, lighting, sound, even making the theatre smell in a particular way. So, attached to this lesson on the website is a sheet which has the stage directions for A Streetcar Named Desire. On that sheet, there are some prompts around the edge in red, which will help you to analyse and have a look at how Tennessee Williams is crafting the plastic theatre, the experience of A Streetcar Named Desire. You're going to want to look at this in terms of the language choices, as well as key themes, ideas, and his intention for what Streetcar would be like for his audience. As you're doing this, I want you to think about why he's spent so long writing this beautiful section that an audience member wouldn't even read. So pause this video, pop on the website, find the sheet, and have a go at that. Fantastic. Okay, so your writing task for this lesson. I'd like you to write a paragraph to answer this question. How does Tennessee Williams create mood and atmosphere in the opening stage directions? In order to be successful, you need to have a close reading of Williams's language, which means that you need to be looking at the devices, the crafting of the language, as that's really important for how Streetcar is going to be presented on stage. I'd like you to try and use the terms plastic theatre, expressionism, and realism or naturalism. And finally, if you've noticed any themes that you think are going to be important to the rest of the play that are shown in these opening stage directions, I'd like you to make a note of those as well. So pause this video and have a go at writing a paragraph to answer that question. Finally, I'd like you to write a sentence to answer this question. Given everything that we've looked at today, thinking about the production notes for the Glass Menagerie and your experience of the stage directions in A Streetcar Named Desire, I want you to write a sentence to answer this question. What is the point of plastic theatre? Pause this video and have a go at that now. Fantastic. Finally, your independent work. There is a YouTube content maker who has gone through A Streetcar Named Desire with a fine-tooth comb and does quite a lot of analytical work. I'm going to be asking for this course that you do most of the reading of A Streetcar independently. So your first task for your independent study hour is going to be to watch these first 2 videos that will take you through the first section of the first scene. Okay, please make sure that you have watched these 2 videos before coming back for lesson number 2. Thank you very much.